Okay, here we are. I think we're live. Good. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Adriana James from NLPcoaching.com and the James Company. And today we're going to have another live session in which I'm going to share with you a little NLP process, which we're going to do together, but which you can take and use in your daily life so that it's very easy to do. It will definitely help you to notice other people's point of view, other people's or situations point of view, and situation on the other side. Good. So we're gathering slowly a nice crowd here. I know that's been a little bit of a confusion about the time of the start of this live recording. So I apologize for that. Anyway, I know that lots of people have contacted me personally because they are overseas. They are in places where it's middle of the night right now and it's kind of tough for them to participate live. However, they will see the recording, which is going to be available later on, as you know. Anyway, so what I would like to do today, first of all, let me know which country are you from? Where are you from? Let me know, because I would be just curious to know how we're doing, internationally. Morning, Jeff. How are you? Good to see you here. Morning, Pamela. It's afternoon here. Zach, hi Zach. How are you? Good to see you. Hi, Brett. How's the weather over there? Andreas, how are you? Hi. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Good. Oh, so good to see some familiar faces. And Tammy, how are you? Oh, good. Let us know which country are you in from, because I'd like to see. Mohammed, how are you? In Sydney, in Australia. Pamela in Australia as well. It's morning in Australia, isn't it? Sure. Caroline, how are you? South Australia. Good. Hey, Connor, good to see you here. Hi, Simon, how are you? Good afternoon. Look at so many good people, and thank you so much for participating. This is really cool. Australia is really big today. Portugal, Sydney again. Wow, look at that. That's very, very cool. Yes, we are all doing well, and I hope you all are doing well. And so we're going to do today this very cool process. It's a little process which, unfortunately, I think it's underused, if you wish to say it this way. However, it is unbelievably useful in situations where you feel you are in conflict or in opposition or in some sort of a different position from another person or even from a situation, which, by the way, who doesn't have such a thing? So it applies pretty much to all of us, no matter what. Because, see, what's happening, we are so caught in our worldview. In NLP, we call that our model of the world. We're so caught in our own model of the world and our own interpretation of the model of the world, because our conscious minds try to explain everything logically, reasonably, and that we tend to forget that, for those of you who are trained in NLP, and I know many of you are, we are actually interpreting the reality around us through our own internal filters. Which just this sentence that I just said, we are interpreting reality around us through our own filters, explains a lot. And here is what it explains. It explains the fact that we cannot see reality around us for what it really is. We are just taking it and interpreting it through our own filters. Now, what are our own filters? First of all, our belief set, our values, especially values. And next week or next time when we're going to do a Facebook Live, I'm going to share with you some things about values. And I will, again, do my best to approach it, even for those of you who are already master practitioners of NLP and have taken the value sections with me. and you know I wrote the book on values and all this, I will try to do it completely differently again, approaching it from a different angle so that you won't hear the same thing that I said in the trainings. However, I will try to make it as useful as possible. So back to our model of the world. So we have our beliefs, our values, our attitudes, how we respond to the environment, and we're left with a infinitesimally small, I said that word right, I didn't get tongue-tied. uh, in infinitive, see? See what I mean? um, and microscopic amount of bits of information that we process consciously, which is not really the reality. And the process we're going to do today will assist us to look back at ourselves and notice, how is the other person? How is the situation seeing me? Because I know how I see the person, I know how I see the situation, I know how I see them over there, right? But I am not sure how they see me. And the most important thing is to notice also that if we are able to look at the situation from an observer that's not involved in the situation, we can get, this is the important part, we can get some unbelievably important learnings, realizations that will occur, which will help us, because that's the point of the whole exercise, right? It will help us to actually improve, not only improve, but maybe change that conflict into a non-conflict. Now, I know you've heard this before. It's almost like a cliche. If you want to change something outside, the only thing you can change is yourself. Change yourself, because you have control over how you respond to situations and events outside yourself. You don't have control over other people, how they respond, or how situations will evolve. By changing how you respond to them, paradoxically, you gain a measurable amount of control over how situations around you are and what you create in your life. Last time we talked about doing timeline therapy and letting go of negative emotions from the past, especially fear. And I want to build up on that a little bit. But before I do that, I'd like to give you a great news. Really, really great news for those of you that, and obviously you're interested in NLP because that's why you're here. Just this week, on April 12th, so that was what, 2 days ago in the United States here, because now it's April 14th, an article appeared in the Forbes magazine. Now, Forbes is a very, very prestigious magazine around the world, folks. It's not a little unknown publication somewhere in a little town, in a little country somewhere. Forbes is an international, really big name. Yeah? And it's an article that says 3 ways NLP can up-level your business. For those of you who have taken trainings with me in the last few years, you asked me, where do you think NLP is going? And I said, it's going up. It's going on an up curve. It's going up because it's very, very useful everywhere you look. I don't care for what background you have. You can have medical background. You can have engineering background. You can have IT background. You can have any background whatsoever. NLP is very useful. And the author or authoress, to say better, because it's women, her name is Stephanie Burns, is a contributor to the Forbes Women magazine. And she says, first of all, she puts it from the business perspective, but many of you have small businesses. Yeah. So think of it from this point of view. NLP can help you better market to clients. NLP can help you better serve clients. And NLP can help you empower your employees or the team members you work with. And she links it all to, it's not a long article, you can find it if you search on Forbes. The name of the article, I'll say it again, is 3 ways NLP can up-level your business. And so the conclusion is that the way you communicate, the way you observe the response, the way you listen, the way you hear the words, the real communication, because everybody says, oh, I can talk. Everybody can talk, obviously. but do we really, really figure out what is the other person saying? Or do we take it immediately personally and again interpret it through our own filters without observing and being capable of putting ourselves in the other person's position, looking back at us and noticing what are they really, really saying? So yes, folks, NLP is on an up curve as I predicted, and it will still keep going up. And by the way, so it's timeline therapy. How I know that? Because of the number of inquiries and the number of people that contact us for timeline therapy. And so we are going now, and I promise I am going to expand on this one next week when I talk about values, because we are experiencing now a massive, massive change. Everybody can say this. It's almost like one of those events after which life will never be the same. This health crisis, the fact that we are stuck in our houses, the fact that we need to maintain social distancing and all the restrictions and all the conditions that we need to respect nowadays, simply change the social fabric of reality around us. And it's one of those one-time events which, after which life will never be the same. Now, does that mean it's bad? No, I'm not making a value judgment. I'm saying it's going to be different. Yeah? So, and I don't think we're even done with the changes that we're going through. Now, those changes were predictable, and I don't have a crystal ball. It's simply predictable because of the shift in values that's happening all over the place on the planet. So I'm not talking small picture here. I'm talking really big picture as us, as a human race, we experience today. Now, as every change, there are pains that we experience because we are all stuck in our model of the world. We are stuck in what we know. I know this, whatever this is, yeah? My predictable box. If you've seen the little video I posted on Facebook, I talk about the box, which is our box of our own thinking. Yeah. And we are all comfortable in our box. Yeah. We are all very comfortable in our own box of thinking. And so the thing is, the changes that occur were predictable because of the shift in values levels. Depending how stuck we are on our old ways, and depending how stuck we are on our old belief system, and how much you hold like this on our cherished old belief systems about what? First of all, about who we are. I am this way and I am not that way. Well, it seems to me that we're required nowadays to contemplate what we are not and to integrate that. This is a very long discussion I could go into, but it's beyond the scope of this Facebook Live today. About what we do, oh, I've done this, therefore I'm not going to do it differently. That's holding on too tight, because we all are faced with a situation where we'll have to do things differently. And also about what we have. Oh, I have this, and if I don't have that, or I can't have that, or stuff like that. So it's be, do, and have, the three major issues that we are confronted with for the big change. See, there are changes. There are changes because, at least where I live here, and the feedback I receive from many of you with whom I'm in contact every day, and I'm in contact with more than 100 people every single day. You give me feedback that businesses like restaurants or movie theaters or bars or malls or travel experiences or sports venues or stuff like that, that because they're closed, will never be the same when they reopen. Many of them don't survive. And so there are many people who remain without jobs. This is reality. This is not Adriana's focusing on what, I don't want. It's not about that. It's reality. We need to look around us, and I'm reading the news, and last week there were 16 million people in the United States that applied for social benefits, which means these people don't have jobs. So this is reality, yeah? Now, again, if I want to point this out to you because it comes back to how I started this talk today. If we look at these people, we go, oh my God, these poor unfortunate people, they will be miserable for the rest of their lives. And this is this is not a position that helps you, first of all, and is not a position that helps them either. Because every person, no matter where they are in their lives, they can change that. This is a very important belief, and that comes from NLP, because NLP is all related to change. Because when you change something inside you, you can succeed against all odds. And that's a very important principle. And for those of you who are highly trained, for those of you who are trainers already, for those of you who are master trainers, for those of you who know so much and teach others, it's always good to remember this. Because all of us tend to get caught in our own thinking box, no matter how simple or complex that thinking box is. Yeah. So think of it. Other changes that happen in society. Homeschooling may become a long-term thing. You know, children may not be able to attend regular school days in big groups. Who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows. Yeah. One thing is clear, that change is happening. Yeah. We might have temperature scanners everywhere to make sure that our health is good. Um, I have no idea. It's again, and I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm not making a value judgment. I'm just saying there are social changes on a scale never encountered before in your life, my life, and the lives of everyone on the planet. We're transitioning, and the question is, we're transitioning to what? And I promise I will unpack this next week very, very well in the values. As tempting as it is to get into it a little bit now, I'm gonna hold back because the topic of our conversation today is different. But I will unpack that to you because the more you understand where we're going and how these changes evolve, the better you are equipped to adapt quickly and efficiently and enjoy the changes that you go through, which will assist you in your personal growth as a leap forward, as well as then you can assist others because many of you are coaches and trainers and participate and I have a little bit to say about that today, in assisting others and being of service to others, because that's a very, very important point. Now, maybe these changes we should have um, we should have been willing to do on our own accord long ago, because from the perspective of the signs that we were seeing in terms of the development of all of us as a human race, the signs were there. Yeah. So now, because of these changes, there is a time of uncertainty. Nobody's certain of anything. Let's face it. You're forced to live with uncertainty. We don't know this, we don't know that. We don't know when we're going to be, again, returning to free movement. We don't know when the curve is flattened enough, to be able to resume kind of sort of normal relations. We don't know if we're going to resume normal relationships as before. We don't know if we can travel as before. We don't know anything. We don't know what will be the economic results of at the back end of all this period of time. So we're forced to live with a lot of uncertainty. Now, for those of you who are looking for certainty, it's kind of tough because it ain't any. For those of you who are flexible enough to take it, and that's my first rule number one, take it one day at a time. Please remember this. Right now in this period, I'm not saying to do this for the rest of your life, but right now, take it one day at a time. What will happen in May? I'm not sure. What will happen in June? I have no clue. I have an idea where I want to go. You have an idea where you want to go. You have an idea. But if you make specific plans for then, they may happen completely differently from how you think now, because the situation is very fluid. It's very, very fluid, and change happens every single day. In fact, it's so much change, that's the only thing that's sure. That's plenty of change. So uncertainty is everywhere. So instead of going, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I'm so uncertain, go, okay, what can I do now? Live in the moment. Live for today. You know what are you going to do in the next few hours while it's still daylight, or in the rest of your day. Plan day by day. And that's how you find certainty. Aside from that, certainty, by the way, if you really think of it, especially for those of you who are our graduates, you know this already. Certainty, if you really want to reach a level of certainty, paradoxically, you cannot look outside. You need to look inside and discover inside yourself by, dare I say, brutal honesty, where you're not really truthful to yourself. Or where do you have conflicts? Where is it that area that you don't want to pay attention to? If I was to talk about meta programs, which are a topic, for those of you who don't know, NLP are a topic, there's some filters that we have inside of us that we discuss in the master practitioner training, but it will suffice to say that it, in terms of meta programs, you'll find certainty inside you by taking feedback from outside, and yet it's not the outside world that gives you that certainty. Is you, your own skills, your own belief set, your own filters that allow you to be certain even if we live through an uncertain time. Do I make some sense? Give me a little bit of feedback here. Give me a little bit of feedback here. Do I make some sense here? Are you with me? Am I going too off the wall? Get congruent with self, Glenn. Yeah, now that's a task right there. That's a task right there. And it's well said, by the way. It's very well said. Because Milton Erickson, the great Milton Erickson, who was modeled by the creators of NLP, by Bandler and Grinder, and he said, my patients, he was a medical doctor, and he said, my patients are my patients because they are out of rapport with their unconscious mind. Out of rapport could mean conflict. Out of rapport simply means that the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, and last time I said, for those of you who may not have been there last time, I said the unconscious mind is simply the intelligence of the body. Yeah? It's not our rational, logical mind, but the intelligence of our body that feels emotions. Good. Give me more feedback, folks. Some of you said, yeah, it makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate. Good. Maria says, absolutely. Good. Good. Thank you. Good. Christina says, yes, definitely. Good. Because sometimes I tend to go a little bit far out, and I just want to make sure that you are with me, and I can make some sense. Actually, good. Louis said, I like it. Lisa says, absolutely. Farah says, yes. Beautiful. Good. Thank you. That's great. Good. So you can ask me, so if you understand values and you understand the transition and you understand where we are and where we're going and all this, where are we going? What's coming? What are those changes? And I will describe to you the theoretical part. As I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't pretend to predict the future because I can't. And by the way, nobody can. Because here is something I want to bring to your attention again. The future doesn't happen to you. By every action you take, every day, you create that future together with me, together with your people in your family, your community, your state, your country, all of us, by the actions that we take, create that future. One of the most sure, actually, one of the surest way to disempower yourself is to give that to somebody else and say, you do it. That somebody else being anybody, a person, an institution, a government, a country, doesn't matter. That's the surest way to disempower yourself. Because then they may think of the future differently from you, and most people would do. And then you have no right to complain if the result is not of your liking. Think of that in relation to the changes that we're going through right now. Every single day is an important day. Don't focus on what will happen next year and 10 years and whatever. Sure, you can contemplate. Sure, you read the news. Sure, you do this. And so on and so forth. However, for you, live life to the fullest every day. And live life without regrets. Don't live life in what if I had the courage to, ... What if I, ... Whatever, fill in the blanks. You fill in the blanks for yourself. I'm not a mind reader. I know everybody has a what if. What if I just did have been this way or that way? So if you can do that, paradoxically, it comes back to what I said a moment ago. Live congruently within you. Because then you're truthful to yourself. You go, hey, this is it. There is nothing else that I have any regrets for. There is nothing else that I wish I would have, could have done. And that's again congruency. And that links to what I started with the how we perceive the world, how our filters and belief systems project onto the world what we are inside, and the fact that change happens always from within. So everything I mentioned today, it may seem to you like they're separate dots like this, but they're not. If you really think carefully, they all link, they all connect, all these dots connect. And all these dots come back to congruency inside you. The fact that the only place you can change something is you. And to the fact that the change that we're facing today is putting us all in a position where we need to face the not me. Thank you, Giddy. You're so nice. Thank you to Giddy just posted. I wish you and Gay are doing very great. Thank you so much. We are doing well. I hope you're well too. Thank you for participating. It's so nice to see you guys here. It's so beautiful. Okay, so first was don't do long time planning. Have an idea where we are going, but live every single day. And then the second thing I want to share with you is in terms of what to do in these terms of uncertainty is to prioritize. Prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. What's the first thing, the most urgent thing you have to deal with right now? Right now. Yeah? And then deal with that one first and leave the rest for later. Now, sometimes I caught myself, I admit, hey, I'm not different from you. Sometimes I caught myself by leaving the most important thing to do at the end. And so I did everything else that I needed to do, and I left the most important thing to the end. Now I may say that's procrastination. Not in my model of the world. It was like I really want to get rid of all the non-essential stuff and then focus all my attention on that important thing that I wanted to achieve. Now, that doesn't work very well, not in my experience. Because by the time I got to that very important thing, I was tired. So I didn't have enough capability to focus everything on my attention and everything I wanted to do on that very thing that I should have done at the very beginning. I hope this makes sense also. See, nobody can tell you what future holds because the future hasn't happened yet. Yeah, we can have some ideas. Sure, absolutely, totally. But the fact that we live now in uncertainty doesn't matter, we'll never be certain again. The fact that 16 million people have applied for Social Security today doesn't mean that they won't have jobs tomorrow. Because here's the thing, most people hated their job anyway. Come on, let's face it. I talk to lots of people who just went to their job of theirs because they had to. Should, had, must, ought to, because there are bills to pay, and so on and so forth. And they were looking and I go, oh my God, I just wish it was Friday. Yay, it's Friday, weekend's coming. Oh my God, it's Monday again, I gotta go to work. So what if, in this period of time, when they get governmental support, yeah, and it's a perpetual weekend, what if in this period of time, and that, by the way, that's also for you, that's also for me, that's also for everybody, what if in this period of time, instead of watching brainless stuff or stupid jokes on social media or endless hours of Netflix and so on and so forth, we learn something new? I mean, I don't know what you want to learn. Learn something new. Learn a foreign language, for what I know. I don't know. Learn how to grow hydroponics in your kitchen. I mean, learn something useful. Learn a new skill. Here is the thing. Learn something that could bring you an additional income. Learn how to use social media. Many people have no clue how to use social media. Now, I need to acknowledge a lady that's so dear to my heart. And it's such a model to me. And the lady is 95-year-old now. And probably she doesn't look or think or anything one day older than 60 or 65 max. And she's on social media. She's on conversations on the computer. She learned all this. What's she going to do? She goes, I'm going to stay home and rot my brains? No. Now that's, to me, it's so admirable. It's so, it's a real living model. So find a real living model for yourself. Find somebody, it's like in the modeling process from NLP again. Find somebody worth modeling. Find somebody that you can look up to. And not as in up to, oh my God, they are so great, I could never be that way, because that's not what I'm saying. Look what they're doing. How can I replicate the same thing? You notice it's a different thing. I'm not comparing as to I'm more than or less than that person. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I'm talking about looking at somebody that does this behavior. I'm looking at this lady and I go, geez, I really want to be that way when I'm 95. She's doing stretches, Pilates, she's doing this, she's doing that. I have the utmost respect in the world and admiration for this lady. And I got a few people like this in my life. Make sure you have people like this, because if you surround yourself with people like this and you're in contact with people like this, then you buy into that capability. You buy into that morphogenic field. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake from the UK, the great biologist, talks about people whose minds are alike create kind of a morphogenic field, a field in which the information is shared, even if you'd never talk to that person live again, or even if they live hundreds and thousands of miles away from you. Yeah, but that's coming back to NLP, because why? Because through NLP, we can train our minds to stay that way. In one of our other trainings, I have a slide, which funnily came to mind many times in the last period of time. And I was just talking to it with another graduate of ours, a dear friend, the other day. And the slide says to think bad thoughts, to let your mind spiral down into unhappiness is the easiest thing in the world. To think good thoughts and stay focused on positives and focused on what you want, it requires effort. To know what's going on in the world and be aware of all the changes that go on in the world and focus on the positive requires monumental effort. Because our minds, if they are untrained, they go wherever they go. Think how fast you change from one thought to another, to another, to another. If you were to remain conscious of this, in probably 30 seconds, you will think of something miles away from where you start. Oh no, 30 seconds, I'm too generous. No, not 30 seconds. 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That's how fast our minds work. So to be able to take all that going all over the place and focus it on what we want to the exclusion of everything else, meaning cutting out everything else when we do a task and when we want to achieve something. I'm not saying you should do this all the time, but when you need to focus on what you want to achieve something, yeah? That requires effort. That requires effort. It requires effort like when you start to exercise. When you start to exercise, you go to the gym. At the beginning is, oh my God, you hurt everywhere, you have muscular fever. Now you're exercising the inner muscle in here, in the skull, which is called your brain. You're exercising your brain, you're thinking. And at the beginning, it's going to be a little tough. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't relax. I'm not saying you shouldn't let your mind take breaks. You must, actually. Yeah. However, so I shared with you some very important points. Let those with eyes to see and ears to hear me. Because I shared with you some unbelievably important principles that if you really take them and apply them in your life, it will make a gigantic difference. So again, I'm going to build up a little bit on what I said last time in our Facebook Live. If you are experiencing stress, massive stress, don't stay in stress. Do whatever you know how to do. If you know timeline therapy, and many of you are our graduates, so I know you know timeline therapy, yeah, then do timeline therapy. Get out of anxiety, especially anxiety, because uncertain times presuppose the unknown and the unknown future, and that can lead to anxiety. So, no, cut that one out. Do anxiety, model from timeline therapy, and let go of that. If you don't know timeline therapy, you're not our graduates. You're just new at this. Then what you need to do is do other modalities of letting go of stress. Learn how to meditate. Learn how to calm your mind. Do everything you can. Learn yoga. Learn other practices that will assist you. But don't stay in stress, for crying out loud. Because when you're in stress, your own body, your hormones will be off. Your hormones act differently when you're under stress compared to when you are in a state of calm. Yeah? Your emotional reactions are different. Your behavior towards others, the people you live with in your household, the people you communicate with online, will be different. Your reactions, if your mind and emotions they are creating chemical and electrical reactions in your cells and thus in your organs. That's why they say stress is the biggest killer. Yeah. So, and if you are, therefore, you need to be in charge of your mind. You need to be in charge of that focus that I was talking about one moment ago. You need to be able. I'm not saying it's easy. Seriously. I'm not trying to sell you a thing, oh, just focus on what you want, what are you doing? No, I'm not saying this. Because it's very easy to get in denial. And that's not what I'm talking about. It's very easy to get in denial or reframe yourself. And that's sticking your head in the sand. And aside from the fact that when your head is in the sand, you are on your knees, It doesn't help. I said also something very important just now, for those of you who really can hear me. Denial is not the solution. I don't want to know anything, therefore I'm going to do fine. No, that's the lazy approach. I could use a term even stronger than that, but I'm not going to, because it's not my intention to offend anybody, guys and girls. It's not my intention, but we have to tell the truth. We all have this mechanism, me included, called denial. And it requires brutal inner honesty to recognize how we feel, because that's the unconscious mind. The conscious mind needs to be willing to recognize how we feel about certain situations. And in certain situations, we may not feel good. Yes, maybe I'm scared. Maybe I'm frustrated. Maybe I'm regretful. Maybe who knows? But once we recognize what's going on, first of all, the unconscious mind goes, oh, okay, the conscious mind's paying attention. Good. So that's a win right there for congruency, being congruent inside you, being not conflicted inside you. And number two, then you can do something about that. Then you can do timeline therapy. Then can you let go of the negative emotions? And then you can move on. So all of that's connected. Now, for those of you who are already coaches, even if you're not coach yet, if you just help somebody by talking to them. Here is the thing. It's a question that occurred to me this morning thinking about this talk. And I was thinking, the fact that the more people you serve, the more people you serve, the more effective you are, and you become. So the question is right now, you don't have to write it down. I don't need to be prying into your personal lives. But the question is, how many people do you serve right now? How many people do you serve right now? You see? And just give yourself the answer. If there are two, the members of your family, hey, you serve two people. If there are 20, hey, you serve 20. And so on and so forth. Doesn't matter. See, for a long time now, at least the last 5, 6, 10 years, we all agreed that we need to do something for our communities. And that's, by the way, part of values. Yeah, community, service, these are keywords. And we heard them over and over and over and over again. But it's very easy to do that online and go, yeah, we all need to do this, while you don't even know the name of your neighbor or the person across from you, across the street. Or if you live in an apartment building, the people which live on the same floor as you do. And by the way, believe me, there are many cases like this. So then the question is, hold on a second, we're talking about community. We're talking about helping each other. We're talking about service. Because of the situation, and it is a good part, folks. This is a good part out of all this uncertainty that happens right now. We're forced by the situation to connect and to serve others and to build. Unfortunately, out of need. We could have done it out of choice, which is my preferred way of doing it, but it doesn't matter. Away from or towards works in both ways. We're kind of forced by the circumstances to reach out and connect with other people, and we connect with other people by serving. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you do that. I gave example with the coaches because this is our field, and I recognized a lot of our, past graduates being present in the chat room. But the question is, how many people did you serve today? Good question. Maybe you don't have to do something necessary. Maybe you say a good word and you serve them by helping them to think differently when they reached out, when you had a conversation with. Or maybe you did something for them. It doesn't matter which way you serve people. The question is, how many people did you serve today? Now, one more thing, and then we'll do the process together. Yeah. I hope you're okay with this. Please let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear a little bit, to see a little bit of feedback so I know how I'm doing. If you are clear about what I'm saying, if you want me to expand on something, please write it down in the chat so I can get the feedback from you. Remember, in this program, I see only one line at a time, and sometimes it changes very, very fast as I talk. And as I focus on what I have to say, speaking of focusing on one thing at a time, I may lose, you know, we need to focus on the silver lining. Yes, we need to focus on a positive ending. We need to focus on a happy ending. We need to focus on the fact that even if we go to a change and a transition right now, that it's a good transition for all of us. Good, happy, healthy transition in which we can, actually enhance our lives and live better and freer and healthier and happier and successful and having love and everything we want in our lives. That's what we need to focus on. Now, we may not know how we're going to get there, but who said it? Yes, indeed. Am I coming to Australia? Yes, I'm scheduled to come to Australia for the May trainings, of course, but depending on the travel restrictions, I can't predict. I already have the tickets. I am scheduled to come to Australia, absolutely. Yes. And it's not an or, and I need to pay attention to what's happening. Yeah. Thanks. It's thank you guys for your very kind feedback here. So what is it? Okay. What is it? It says, what is it, the title or focus of this live meeting? I don't know. You're asking me a question that I have no idea. I didn't do it myself. I didn't put it up myself. Yeah. So yeah, serving isn't always doing. Yeah, it's right. You don't necessarily have to do things for other people. In fact, sometimes doing things for them is not serving them. Sometimes encouraging other people to do things on their own may be the greatest service that you can give them, and that's fine. That's fine. You serve people in different ways. The point being that don't let any day pass without being of service to others, because that's indeed by taking action that we serve our communities. Speaking of taking action, it is one thing. I have some notes I put here, and I would like to go through them quickly before we do the process. Yeah. See, we all have to do the most with what we have, because this is the old cliche. We don't take anything with us at the end of our lives. And again, it's a paradoxical way of thinking. I'm not saying you shouldn't be prosperous and you shouldn't have a good lifestyle. That's not what I'm saying, under any circumstances. And it's the recognition that is not only about what you have. There are three things: be, do, and have. Yeah, which come from ancient philosophies. These are the three gunas from the Sanskrit Old Indian philosophy and so on, Eastern Indian philosophy and so on and so forth. And wherever you look in the world, it's the same thing as the be, do, and have, all three of them. So I'm not talking now mostly about how much you have in terms of physical possessions, because you may have other things that I or anybody else doesn't. Some of you may have an incredible patience to deal with people, and you serve them by your patience. Some of them, you have a lot of other type of skills, because each and every one of you has tons of skills by which you serve. But if you look deeply, even when you think you're doing everything for yourself, unless you are really a psychopathic, selfish, self-centered, me, I, me, and myself person, which is rare cases. I'm not saying those don't exist, but those are pathological, as you see. But most people, even when they think they do things for themselves, they actually do things by interaction with others. And that's the paradox. What we do for ourselves, we do for others, because there's always the other. That's important for the process we're going to do next. The other perspective, the other's point of view, the other's model of the world. Yeah. So there are many things that prevent us from doing something, from taking action. Because when you take action, here's one thing. When you bring something to the world by taking action, when you bring something to the world by not only thinking about one thing, but doing something about it, whether it is a conversation, whether it is something physical that you do, doesn't matter. When you focus that intention, notice that it's connected to focus, yeah? You focus your intention and you take action and you bring it to the world. And the force of it comes together. The morphogenic field in which you tap by your action comes together. And then it's not only your focus, even if you may not ever be aware of it, but it's not only your focus, it's the everybody else synergistically who's part of the same morphogenic field. Yeah. When you're on board with it. But if you just think of it, or if you just meditate sitting on the couch, ain't gonna happen, because you don't bring it to the world. And you bring it to the world by taking action. You've heard me beat this horse again and again and again and again in our trainings. And you remember how stubborn I am on this. Taking action, taking action, taking action. For those of you who are interested in spirituality, this is the law of the magician. You can't be a magician if you just talk about it. That's called an armchair magician. You just sit and talk about it and exchange and ideas and, move the energy through the body. That's not enough. That's not enough. But you say, but I could never do this or that, but I could never admit to this or that, but I could never admit inside myself this, or I couldn't take action. What would people think of me? And that's another one of the greatest enemies. I'd like to expand on that when we get to values level 4 next week. Because that's another one of our greatest enemies. We're so concerned with what would the other or the others think of us. I got news for you folks. Nobody cares. Listen, none of you woke up this morning wondering how I am. Can we agree on that? When you woke up this morning, your first thought wasn't, I wonder how's Adriana doing. No, you have your own lives. So are the other people you are worried about. So are the people you are so worried, what would they think of you? They have their own lives. They have their own problems to deal with. Life is full as it is. Now is uncertain for everybody, not only for you. So they don't care. So quit worrying about others. But how am I going to do this? Take a decision. Make a decision. Make a decision. Now, I'm not saying to do something that's in any form or shape antisocial or not polite or not respectful or not respecting, the common sense values in our society. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying, because that's not what I'm saying under any form or shape. However, what I'm saying is quit worrying, because if you worry so much, you're not going to do anything, because you're afraid that what would happen if you try and fail. And so you don't even try to do anything. You don't even take any action because you're afraid of failure. Oh my God, please fail. Please fail about 10, 15 times. And if you fail 15 times, pick yourself up 20 times and keep going. What are you doing if you're not doing anything? How could you expect to grow and develop and enhance your consciousness and become a better person if you don't ever try to do anything new? Now the situation that we're going through, this change, forces us all to do something new. Isn't that wonderful? And you go, no, I feel uncertain. Good. Good. Good, because then you have to reach deep down inside you and pick up some resources that you never knew they were there. And skills and techniques, yes, we do have skills and techniques. I consider myself very, very lucky. And for those of you who know the skills, you are very lucky to have the skills for which you are, that actually the skills that first of all, for which you were drawn to, but also the skills that will help you to make the changes easier. But those are skills, everybody can learn them. Everybody can learn NLP, as the article in Forbes was saying. Everybody can learn timeline therapy. Yeah. So these are skills that you can learn, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing nothing versus doing something. But I don't feel happy. I cannot get myself to do anything. Come on, in NLP, you know very well. You remember a time when you were happy, or you go back to that time fully in your body, looking through your own eyes, seeing what you saw, hearing what you heard, and feeling the feeling of happiness, and you can be happy in the moment. Happiness is not even the issue. The question is what you're doing right now bringing you joy? Are you enjoying what you are doing? Are you enjoying your life? Or is something missing? And if it's missing, reach out and get it. And quit being afraid of what would people think. Take action. Now maybe what you want requires a series of steps. Okay, one step at a time. Remember I said, one day at a time, one step at a time. If you really want something, if you have a dream, and you heard this before, and there is so much truth in every person throughout history, ancient or modern, that says this thing, that it's worth contemplating so many times. And I do, and I hope you do too. If you really want something, do you really want that something, or you're just saying you do? Because if you're just saying, don't kid yourself. Just don't kid yourself. Just go for what you want. What do you want? What do you want today? Not what you want in 50 years. Not what you want for the planet. That's another story. What do you want right now? You know how to set goals in the future. You know how to take action. For those of you who are trained, you know how to do keys to an achievable outcome, to think of your goals in a way which is simple. And don't kid yourself. I had a conversation the other day with somebody who said, but it's nothing that stops me. We all have something that stops us. It's called our decisions, beliefs, attitudes, internal filters. And because otherwise we would have everything we want, we would be everything we want, and we would do everything we want. And if we don't, to the 100%, and if we still have dreams or things that we haven't achieved, we still have something to work on. And that's the beauty of it, don't you see? That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty called life. If everything would be perfect all the time, God, it would be a boring life, don't you think? It was so boring, we would just go, okay, is any change anywhere? Is anybody doing something that's not right so we can kind of have a little fun? You know? Don't think of that. I didn't think of that. You shouldn't think of that either. What are you thinking of? Yeah, so back to focus and intention. Focus your intention in bringing your what you want to achieve into the world by your action. And remember, any decision is better than no decision. You go, but what if I take the wrong decision? Well, you're going to find out. Things are not going to work out the way you want them. Okay, things don't always work out the way you want them. So, now what? Did the world end? No, it didn't. And will it end? No. Do people really care? No. Some people have forgotten the next day. Oh, some people will hold it in their memory about a week. And after that, pretty much everybody will forget anyway, including you. So, you see, let's look at this change and this uncertainty and everything we're going through with a degree of excitement, with a degree of amazement, with a degree of, yeah, we're being pushed to become better. We're being pushed to dig inside ourselves and find those resources that we never knew they were there. Because out all the people in the world, you guys that are here, you people that are here, you're searching for that and you're looking for that and you're doing that. So I'm just looking at what's going on and I go, yeah, that's cool. That's actually very cool because it pushes us to become much better. It pushes us to become more creative, to imagine new things that we never thought that we could before. And maybe we wouldn't have taken those steps before because we were too comfortable and too accustomed to one way of doing things or two ways of doing things or three ways of doing things. Okay, I hope this gives you a little food for thoughts, and I gave you some very important tidbits of information. If you took notes now, it's good. Otherwise, when we post the recording, please look at the recording. Make some notes for yourself, not because I said it. Listen, I don't care whether you do or not. I mean, I'm a caring person. I love you all dearly, and I really do. But it's for you. See how this can help you. See how this can help you to change and improve something that you do. Yeah. Good. So now let's get to the practical things and do together this process. Let me know if you're ready. Just type ready or thumbs up or something soon to know that you're ready to do the process. And we can do it together. Because I need to know how you're doing. Hi, Vicky. Thank you. I know there is a little delay in response, so I'm just going to wait for you. Okay, Kamal says ready. Hi, Kamal. Good to see you. Joe says ready. Natasha says ready. Good. Good. You love it. It's very good. Perfect. Good. Everybody says ready. Christina says ready. Okay, it scrolls pretty fast now. Good. Lots of smiles there. Good. I'm happy to see smiley faces. Thank you for the smileys. Love the smileys. They're fun. Good. So I get lots of readies. Good. Therefore, here is what we're going to do. I want you to think of we're going to do the process now with a person, but once you understand the principle of the process, then you can apply it, you do it again on your own with even a situation or another person, okay? So pay attention, please. There are some conditions that you need to follow if you want this process to work. If you don't follow those conditions precisely, it's not going to work. So there are some key elements. So please, please, please follow my instructions because I'm going to guide you step by step so that it will work, for you. So think, Yvette, hi Yvette, hi. Think of a person. Somebody could be anybody, could be a member of your family, could be a coworker, could be an acquaintance, could be a friend, could be anybody, with whom you have some sort of a conflict. And no matter how much you tried, you couldn't resolve it. It's almost like every time you meet them, you go home and you get kind of peaceful and you go, okay, and then you meet them again and here it clashes again between you. Something happens and boom, it clashes again. So pick a person with whom you have a little conflict or a conflict with. You feel like you are in opposition with them. You feel like their position is just so diametrically opposed from yours that you simply cannot figure it out. Cannot figure out how to resolve it, and it gives you negative emotions. That the fact that you are going through this conflict, it gives you negative emotions. And it's unpleasant and you want to resolve it. And let me know when you got it. Let me know, everybody, please, when you got it, because I need your feedback again. As last time when we did the Facebook Live for timeline therapy, I need your feedback so I know where you are, because I can't see you live. You can see me, but I can't see all of you. You have a nice crowd today. I love it. It's very good. Okay, got it. Jill says, got it. Good, good, got it. Got it. Rita says, Sue says, got it. Good. Angela got it. Sandra got it. Mark got it. Good. Good. Perfect. Beautiful. Good. Thank you for the feedback. Yes, it's good to know. Excellent. Yeah, you can give me some thumbs up too. I figured out lately that thumbs up work good. I don't know why, but anyway. Whatever. Good. Definitely got it. Brian got it. Good. Beautiful. Gertzelin got it. Excellent. Perfect. Good. So now I want you don't do anything. Let me explain first. Yeah, let me explain first, and then we'll do the process. I need to explain to you first what we're going to do, so you're prepared, and then we're going to do it together. So please don't do anything now. Just stay with me. So you imagine that you are you where you are, and in front of you, just right in front of you, just about maybe 6 feet, I would be 2 meters in, for those of you who are doing metrics, yeah, is the other person. You just imagine them being there. That's what we're going to do. Don't do it now. This is what we're going to do. You're going to imagine that person being there. And you're going to also imagine that up on the ceiling above you, if you have high ceilings, it's even better. Otherwise, really, maybe even above the place where you live, from a high perspective looking down like this, there is another place from which the both positions, you and the person you are in conflict with, so that perspective from up here, yeah, can see both positions easily. The first position where you are, we are going to call position number 1. We're going to give them some names so we make it easy. For those of you who are trained in NLP, yes, this is perceptual positions. The person you are going, the place where the person you are having a conflict with, we're going to call position number 2. And remember, this is right across from you, right 180 degrees opposed from you, about 6 feet away or 2 meters away from you. And then position number 3 will be that position on the ceiling, which is further away than 2 meters. Yeah. And from that position, both positions are, hi Dean, thank you, are visible. So from the third position, the one on the ceiling, the fly, imagine you're a fly on the ceiling, yeah? And you can see from up there, both you and the person you're having a conflict with. Everybody got it so far? Give me some feedback, please. Yeah, you can give me a thumb up if you like it. I'm happy with that. Good. Yes. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Good. Is anybody who didn't get it? Is anybody who's unclear? Now's your time to ask. Good. Good. Federico, good. Svetlana, good. Perfect. Since I don't get any, thank you. Good. Yes. Since I don't get any feedback otherwise, I keep freezing. I get a message here. I don't know if this is my, I don't think it's my feed from here. It might be the internet there, because it seems all smooth here. As far as I can see, it's all nice and smooth. Good. Because since I don't get any feedback that nobody is in the position to not know what they're doing, let's do it now, okay? Let's do it together. So let's do the process. This is a very cool process, and it seems such a little thing, such a little itty bitty technique. But sometimes it's unbelievably useful because of the learnings. Not because it's a fancy thing of changing positions. It's because of the learnings. So, ready? Here we go. Here we go. So imagine you are in your place, in your body, where you are. And in front of you, about 6 feet, 2 meters away, is the person that you are either in a conflict with, or you don't understand them, or you feel they don't understand you, or is something that's not working smoothly in your relationship with that person. And as you look at that person, please think of what are you feeling? Not what are you thinking? What are you feeling about them? What emotions are you feeling? We start with feelings because for those of you who are trained, you know the secret of this technique is to be associated in all three positions. Yeah? So what are you feeling? What are your feelings? Do you experience negative emotions? Do you experience positive emotions? Do you experience a combination of both? And once you have given yourself the answer of what are you feeling, then what are you thinking? Maybe you are thinking, I don't know, that you are misunderstood, that they are bad people. Yeah, you can be at the effect. They could be bad, they could be whatever. Be honest. What are you really feeling and thinking? And if you're alone in the room, you can even say it out loud. That's fine. And be really, really, really honest. How do you feel and think about this person? That's fine. No matter, there's no blame here. This is how you really feel inside. That's okay. Well, somebody said nothing. It disappeared off my screen quickly. If you feel nothing, that means you shouldn't have a conflict. That's a case of dissociation. If you feel nothing, that means that you shouldn't have a conflict. It shouldn't bother you that you have a conflict, so there must be something there. What are you thinking? At least, and I know there are people who are more associated than others. That's true. Yeah. So at least, what are you thinking? As you imagine them being like 2 meters in front of you, and you look at them there, what are you feeling? What are you thinking about them? Tony says negative feelings. Yeah, of course, there should be some negative feelings. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a conflict. Otherwise, you wouldn't care about them, right? You wouldn't care whether they're even there. You would have a big yawn and everything will be fine. So there must be something. The presupposition is that it must be something there, right? Because that's why you're having a conflict with them. Good. Perfect. Now, what I want you to do, once you figure out what are you feeling and what are you thinking, good, good. Sadness, selflessness, frustration, anxiety. Yeah, of course. These are normal things. Absolutely. Blame. Yeah. Blame the other for the circumstances. Yes, that's common. Absolutely. It's your fault that I feel like this. I'm doing my best, and it's because of you that I feel this way. That's normal in a conflict. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Lucy, that's great. At least you figured out, honestly, that's how it is. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, unloved. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And thoughts, her value of image management is more important than me as an individual or our relationship. Good. Betrayal, blame, frustration. Yeah, good. Good. You guys are bringing this to consciousness. It's good. It's good. Because once you bring it to consciousness, you can let it go, can't you? Frustrated, annoyed. Yep. Yeah, very good. Beautiful. Very good. This is all normal, by the way. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a conflict with the person, would you? Of course not. Of course not. Anger, rude, annoyed. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Good. Good. Okay, Sue. Thank you for being here. I'll see you later. Go attend to your client. Serve your client. I'm sure you can follow up on the recording. Good. For those of you who are, with us and don't have to leave, now what I want you to do is to physically get off the place you are and take a few steps around and then come back. You don't have to go all around the house or the apartment. Just get out of that place, shake it off, and then come back, okay? Good. Now, what I want you to do next, I'm going to wait for you to come back. I hope you didn't go too far. Just a few steps is enough. Just 2, 3 steps around, come back. I want to make sure you're all back. Okay, when you're back, what I want you to do is to imagine you are the other person. I want you to, if you are on a mobile device, which I assume most of you are, now that's an assumption, I might be right or wrong. If you are stuck to a laptop that's wired, then this is a little bit more difficult. You just turn the laptop and move in the other place. Ideal is if you can physically move in the other person's place. Now, if you can't, you can imagine that you can do it in your mind. That's fine. But ideal is if you physically move in the other person's position. Now, as I pointed, it would be in front of you, 6 feet away. Go physically there, in that place. And as you do, become that person. Imagine you are them. You're not you anymore, you are them. And as you are them, look back at you from their position, through their eyes. So remember, you are not you anymore, you are looking at you. You are this person that you're having a conflict or something that's not working well with. And as you're looking back at you, what are you feeling? Remember, you are them, you're not you. They are looking back at you. This person's looking back at you. And as they are looking back at you, they are feeling something. What are they feeling? What emotions are they feeling? What emotions are they feeling? What are they thinking? Now, they may be blaming you. Yeah, that's possible. Be honest. As you are them, looking back at you. Yeah, resentful, annoyed, frustrated. Yep, just as annoyed and frustrated. Now, isn't that interesting? Just as. Yeah, they feel the same. They feel unappreciated. Yeah, yep, yep. Search and needing my strength. Yeah, that's all possible. Misunderstood. Yes. Jealousy, frustration. Yeah, totally. Misunderstood again. People say in the chat room, yes. Jealousy. Now, somebody says she may feel guilt, regret, and misunderstood. I don't know if may. Cut the may out. As you are her right now, that's what you're feeling. There is no may. That's what you're feeling. So go with what you're feeling as her. This is a process you're doing inside yourself, yeah? It cannot be wrong. You don't use may or could or maybe. No. No. I'm feeling this right now as I am her looking back at Adriana, if I was to do the process, yeah? Looking back at yourself in your case. Somebody says, almost like a mirror. Now, isn't that interesting? Isn't perception projection? Yeah. Okay, so some is said angry. Yeah, that's also possible. Yes, absolutely. Questioned, scared. Yeah, you guys are doing this very good. So again, what are they feeling? What are you feeling when you are them, looking through their eyes back at you? And what are you thinking? Yeah, you're doing this very good. Stuck. Angela says stuck. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Powerful. Good. Yeah. Yes. Now, all of those, let them already percolate inside your unconscious mind. Yeah, let them all percolate in your unconscious mind, because very soon when we get to position number 3, Out of all this experience you had so far will come some unbelievable learnings if you've done the process correctly. Good, now step out of their body, and again, take a few steps around. Make sure you're out of position number 2. Become you again, shake it off, yeah? And then after you took a few steps and you become you again, now what I want you to do now, I can't ask you to fly up on the ceiling, because if you did, I will have to model you because we have to do a new training together. And that's a joke I inherited from Ted, who's trying to do this for years, but nobody can demonstrate it. Nobody can. I'm trying to keep a straight face. I can't. This is a joke. But I can't ask you to fly up, but I can ask you to imagine, because you can. Imagine you are, it would be awesome. Somebody says in the chat room, yeah, I would love it too, by the way. So imagine that you are up on the ceiling like a fly up on the ceiling, looking down on both you and the person you have this opposition or this conflict or this misunderstanding or whatever you want to name it with. And you are up there looking down on both of you. And this is position number 3, as you remember. So please imagine you are in position number 3 and you look down. And in position number 3, I want you to describe to yourself, most important, what is it that is 2 people that are seemingly in conflict or opposition? What is it that they didn't notice? What is it that from this neutral place, where you're not involved with either one of the positions in the conflict or opposition, what is it that you can notice from here that neither one of these people have noticed before? Something that would be some incredible learning. Oh, sure, you can stand on a chair if you want, Mark says. Yeah, if that helps you, absolutely, but make sure you're safe, yeah? Because this is a little bit of a trancy. Make sure you're safe and you remain safely upright on the chair, okay? So what is it that could be a great learning or learnings? Maybe it's more than one. Each other's love and appreciation, Lucy, great. Yeah, what is it? What is it that are those something that's a learning that, number one, you could use it personally as a resource for you in the future, anytime. Plus, not only that it could ease the conflict, it could smooth it out, but it could even make it, how to put this one? For some people, the conflict may even disappear, depending. Yeah, depending. So ask your unconscious mind to let those learnings to bubble up in your conscious mind in a way which makes it easy for you to receive those learnings, easy for you to integrate those learnings, so that it will improve not only the relationship with this person, it could improve the relationship with any other person in your life, because you are being changed. You are getting in touch with those resources, which will allow you to make the change inside in such a way that your relationships, all your relationships will benefit out of the change that you can do right now inside you. Because your unconscious mind is very good. Your unconscious mind works with you. And your unconscious mind doesn't like conflict anyway. Who likes conflict? It robs you of energy. It robs you of your time. It robs you of 2 of most commodities you have in life, the most important commodities, time and energy. Don't spend your time with that. The unconscious mind knows that the unconscious mind can give those learnings to the conscious mind right now. So both the conscious mind and the unconscious mind are benefited. The conflict is mutual, unmet needs. Well, then the learnings would be what could change there and what could you do in a situation like this to improve it, to smooth it out. Give me some learnings. Ask your unconscious mind to give you some learnings about that. If there are some needs that are unmet, what else can be there as a resource, as a skill, as a learning to change that, or to change how you feel about that, or to improve it, or to smooth it out, or to create those unmet needs at the unconscious level in any way possible so that the unconscious mind is fulfilled in those needs. Because when the unconscious mind is fulfilled in those needs, it will stop projecting outside of you. And when it stops projecting outside of you, that means the conflict won't be there. Would it? It wouldn't. It wouldn't anymore. You see? It's all about inside. And get those learnings. Please get those learnings now. Your unconscious mind can do that for you. And make sure the learnings are positive. And make sure the learnings are something that you are willing to do. And you can do easily, or you can realize easily. Or you can change, or you can be that person that you want to be in order to improve the situation. Agree to disagree in peace. Keep your boundaries confidentially and strongly where they belong. Svetlana, this is great. Yes, this is a great learning. Sometimes it is a matter of boundaries. But another learning, when someone triggers me, it's an indication, an opportunity that I need to work on myself. Renee says, yes, that's also true. That's the very wise learning. Now with boundaries are a tricky issue. They really are. Because it's very easy to get too strong on the boundaries or to get too loose on the boundaries. Both of them, it's a learning process. It's a learning curve. Because William says, I'll continue my thought in a moment. I go to learnings, have to shoot now. Thank you very much. Okay, good, William, perfectly. So you got your learnings, you have to go. Thank you for participating. I will see you maybe next week, okay? And you can watch this on the recording. Yeah, so about boundaries. Boundaries are a very tricky issue. It's very easy to enforce boundaries too strong. So let's say that you are a person who never enforced your boundaries all your life. Now you're going to be tempted to go overboard and enforce them so strongly that you almost become impossible to deal with. It's your way or the highway. Now that's all the way in one extreme. The other extreme is not to enforce your boundaries at all. And then you become kind of a doormat. Everybody steps over you and nobody respects you, yeah? That's the difficult part. And sometimes boundaries are very, because you need to test them to see where they are. And it's not like I set my boundaries today and they'll be there for the rest of my life, because boundaries are changeable. Tomorrow I may change my mind. Tomorrow may you change your mind. Yeah, it's very easy to change your mind because you change. You don't remain the same person as you were yesterday. So with the boundaries, yeah, yes, that's a great learning, but it can go both ways. And it's always, you walk the middle line. You always walk not too tight on one side, but not too loose on the other side. Yeah, it's kind of like in the middle. You're trying to always balance, always juggle this, or where do I press too much? Oh, now it's like the Torah, you permanently need to balance that. It's like this. Yeah. Hi, Valerie. Oh, I missed your comment. Yeah, yeah, I missed your comment. It scrolled too fast. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Did you get the learnings? Did you get good? Give me feedback, please, because we have one more step. But great learning so far. And thank you for sharing those learnings because they are good for everybody. They're good for everybody. Because we all be, in this moment in time, we all belong to the same morphogenic field. All of us. So what you are sharing, it's paradoxically very good for everybody. So tell me how you're doing. Everybody got the learnings? Angela says yes. There are layers of learning. Yes, Louise, it's possible. Yes. They're possible to be layers. Lots of new learnings. A big smiley face. Yes. Love you too, Katie. Thank you so much. Good. So I assume that all the people who are posting now, you got learnings. We're not done yet. Don't go away. Respect each other. Good. Know that I'm loved and safe and I don't need this conflict. Yes, good. You don't need, nobody needs the conflict. Yeah, but sometimes we do have conflicts. We learn out of our conflicts. Yeah, let go of my own selfish needs. Good. Learning everyone sees the world with their own perspective. Wow, Kamal, that's a great learning. Because indeed, everyone sees the world to their own perspective. Some more thinking to do on this one, Trish. Yeah, Trish, you can do it again. Sure, what stops you to do the process again and again? Sure, absolutely. In fact, it's very good to do this. Happy learnings, Lucy says. Yeah, good. But the question is, can we proceed to the last step? Yeah? Because that's my point. Because we need to do the last step where we're not quite done yet. You're very welcome. Svetlana said, thank you for the feedback. Good. Good. Some great learnings. People are posting it. Good. So here is the thing now. I wanted to come down again in your place where you were sitting when we started in position number one. In your own body. Totally, fully being you. In position number one, totally and completely being you, as you imagine looking at the person who is 6 feet or 2 meters away in front of you. And now I want you to notice how that situation has changed. Now, if you've done the process correctly, and if you fully associated in position number 1, 2, and 3, and if you allowed your unconscious mind to give those learnings, that situation at least has changed and shifted. Now, the degree of how much is changed and shifted, it depends on the nature of the conflict. It depends on the nature of who who's the person in your imagination in position number 2, the nature of that conflict, as I said, and so on and so forth. For a smaller conflict, the conflict may be completely dissolved. But I want you to notice how the conflict has shifted. It may be shifted just like this, or, whoo, big time. Oh, Federico says, I want to give her a hug. Good. Make sure she is in agreement with that. That's good. It's very nice. Okay. I'm much more grounded. Good. That's good. Grounding is good. This definitely is not the time to float out in the ozone. This is the time to be really nice and grounded. Beautiful. Yeah, grounded is good. And guess what I figured out is how to put the whole comment section So I can see. Trish says, I'm calm and neutral. A feeling of compassion. Beautiful. Beautiful. New understanding, opportunity to learn, curious to listen and learn. Listen, didn't that change? Isn't that bizarre? What did we do? We did a little process. Don't know about hugging the man, but definitely progress. Alejandro says, well, if you had a big conflict, from there to a hug, it's a long trip. And plus, social distancing nowadays, right? I had to say. Yeah, the conflict disappeared. Frank says the conflict disappeared. Wow, look at that. Good job. Glenn says I'm calm. Good. Ephraim says I have compassion for her and me. Nice. So you guys have that thing has changed. Robert says, love your Facebook Live. Love you back, Robert and Fran. You are good people. We love you. Natalie, good to see you here, Frank. Oh, that wasn't for me. That was for Frank. Very big shift, Carolyn says. Good. Very big shift. Good. Think things differently? Yes. 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 As long as, listen, what you're looking for is a shift. Yeah? You're looking for a shift. You're looking for something that has changed in your understanding, in your ability to interact with the other person differently than before. Because if you've got that, and you take action and you implement those learnings, the conflict may not even be there. As Trish says, my conflict is now understood and what I can do now to help the changes toward her. Yes, so you got already the action that you need to take. That's exactly what I meant. Yeah, because we get learnings and then we implement that in our behavior. We change our behavior based on the learnings. And then, we ease or smooth out or simply dissolve the conflict completely. Good. Good. That's very good. That's excellent, actually. It's very, very good. Shift is there for sure. Emotion has softened. I understand both points of view now, but happy to keep my learning. Good, Svetlana, here is the thing. If you still have negative emotions and you know timeline therapy, just let them go. And that together with the learnings will allow you to proceed anew. Will allow you to proceed in this interaction without the emotional baggage from the past. I mean, if you want to, I'm not saying you should do it. Listen, I'm not going to tell you, any one of you, what to do. There are too many people out there trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what's possible and what would I do if I was you. So if you know how to do timeline therapy, I would let go of all that luggage, from the past that, it's because negative emotions act like kind of a personal baggage we're carrying. And then with the learnings that you got today, the next time you see the person, you will interact differently. And maybe, just maybe, I'm not suggesting that, but just maybe, because of the change that you made inside you, the other person will completely be different. What do you know? Just saying. Good, I love your comments. I love that Karen said this sadness as ease shifted into hope. Need to go, Karen. Thank you. Good to see you, Karen. We'll see you next time. Good. Some parts of the world is really late or people have to go to work as well. It's fine. We're going to post it. You can see it on the recording. Good. So one more thing, and now we will then close. I would just stop talking. Remember, again, do this process with everything or everybody that you have a conflict with, or you are in an opposition, you feel like you're in an opposition, When you get really good at this process after you do it several times and you remember the conditions, you cannot look at the other person and get the learnings. You have to become the other person. And you have to become the fly on the wall. This is very important. Please remember if you do it and when you do it on your own. But you can do this with every person you ever have a conflict. And when you get really good, you can even do it with situations. Yes, you can. But you can't jump directly there if you haven't done this process before or if you didn't master it doing it several times. But yes, it's possible. You can look back at you from a situational point of view. The trick is, how are you going to associate into a situation? That's the trick. Because without association, the process doesn't work so good. Doesn't work so good. That's the thing. Anyway, I wanna with this, and I hope this process will help you, because that's why I wanted to do it with you and to remind you, for those of you who knew about it, to remind you to use it. For those of you who didn't know it, take it and use it. But I would like to close with somewhere where I began. That the question is, are we going through changes? Yes. Is it uncertainty? Yes. Does that mean that things are necessarily turning bad? No. They may turn iffy for a while because in order to change, we need to change. And sometimes we need to change things that we cherish very much. Sometimes we need to change things that are very dear to us. The only certain thing nowadays, and I really mean nowadays in April 14th, 2020, yeah? The only certain is that everything is changeable and everything changes very fast. That's the only certainty that we have right now. The rest, you have the certainty of the people around you. You have the certainty of the people you love, and they love you back. You have the certainty of you. And so some of you have a lot of skills that not everybody has. What are you doing right now to use those skills, to take action, and to serve others? And what are you doing right now to enhance your own life? I don't care what age you are. Maybe you think, oh, I don't have to learn anything new. Big mistake. That lady I love dearly, she's 95 years old, and she's still learning. And that's one of the things that makes her so young. She didn't age one day after maybe the age of 65. Maybe. I would say 60. So what are you doing right now to enhance your life and in the process to serve others? It's very easy to think everything's frightening. Yeah, remember? To think bad thoughts, it's the easiest thing in the world. To think good thoughts and focus on what you want requires effort. To know what's going on and focus on what you want requires monumental effort. And you can do it. You have a smart mind. Have your mind focus on what creates results. And take it one day at a time. And when you make a commitment to something or to somebody, that should be cast in stone. Without that commitment, you'll never start anything. Or if you start, you'll never finish. When I talk about commitment in the trainings, and for those of you who've taken trainings from me recently, I did a lot of talk about commitment. And without commitment, and I'm not asking you to commit to anybody else, I'm asking you to commit to yourself. I'm asking you to be truthful to what you say. I'm asking you to be truthful and commit to your own words. Don't disappoint your unconscious mind. The conscious mind too many times disappoints the unconscious mind, and then we end up in conflict inside ourselves. And yes, you can do this process of perceptual positions with your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. The trick is to be able to associate in both, which means when you are switching to position number 2, you have to become unconscious. Because you'll become your little unconscious mind. Yes, you can do that. What an idea, Adriana. I didn't think of that. Well, now you have. Yes, you can do this process that way too. So keep striving. Keep doing something that fulfills you and gives you a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment every single day. Before you go to bed, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be something gigantic. It can be something small. But if you accomplish something every single day, you go to bed with that feeling of accomplishment and you go, I didn't live for nothing today. I accomplished something. And that increases your self-confidence. That increases your self-worth. That increases the belief that you can do things that you want to do. It sounds like a motivational pep talk. And you've heard this before. But are you doing it? We all love to hear motivational talks. The question is, are you staying faithful to you? Are you making the commitment to you? Or you're just saying things? Because all of you have goals. All of you have things you want to accomplish. All of you have relationships that you want to improve. Take action. Do something about it. Because otherwise, the words don't match the behavior. Conscious mind doesn't match the unconscious mind. We have inner conflicts. And round we go. Okay? So, never give up. That's my end of the talk today. And I wanna say something else. One more thing. And then we're really done. Yeah? Take this process and use it. Remember the conditions. In order to work, you need to fully become the other person or fully become the fly on the wall. You cannot be you talking about the other person when you are imagining yourself there. You are you only in position number 1. Then you are not you anymore. You are the other person looking back at you, or you are the neutral position, the fly on the ceiling, looking down on you and the other person. That's one of the key elements of this process to work. The second key element is to get learnings. To get learnings that will act for you as resources. That doesn't mean in some cases it would, but it doesn't mean in all cases that you need to go hug that person. Just by bringing you inner peace, just by bringing understanding about the nature of the conflict, that could be sufficient. So all the learnings could be on different degrees. Don't think that because you don't feel like jumping and hugging the other person, you didn't get the learnings. Yeah, it depends. In some cases that may apply, in some cases it may not apply. That's fine, either one. The point is to get something that will lessen, at least lessen the intensity of the conflict, if not iron it out, smooth it out, and make it just not be a conflict anymore. So that's about the process we did. Yeah. Now, if you like this live chats that I do with you guys, leave me a comment. And please let me know what would you like to talk about. By the way, the talk about values next week has been inspired by some requests from the people who have attended last week. So I'm happy. I'm very flexible. I'm happy to do what you want. If you have questions, I can answer your questions without naming. It's going to be private, but answer around your questions. in the live chats. We can do a Q&A if you want one time. But it depends. Leave me a comment. If you like this, leave me a thumbs up. Share with other people. That, first of all, helps me as well, and I would really appreciate your help back. And number two, it lets me know how I'm doing. Seriously, I'm looking at this as a feedback, and I always incorporate the feedback. Yeah. So depending on your response, I tailor what I do. It's very important. And again, I want to give a shout out to all our graduates, to all the people that have been here. But some of you I haven't seen in a long time. I still love you all. And some of you I've seen recently. I would like to wish you all the best. Stay well. And much love to you all. Be well. And together, let's make that change this time that we go through this change really good for all of us, because that's what counts. Eventually, that's all that is about. We won't take anything else with us. So be well, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.